Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Last class we did till audit of LIC, right? And I gave you homework of reading accounting principles for preparation of financial statement of general insurance company. So accounting principle related points. Accounting principle related points. Is there any doubt? Have you given it a read? Yes, Dhanlakshmi. Then what is premium deficiency? Premium deficiency क्या थी? बोलो.
है जितना पढ़ा, एक तो प्रीमियम डेफिशिएंसी कुछ खास समझा नहीं और उसके अलावा जो स्टार्टिंग में जो प्रीमियम पॉइंट है, उसमें अनअर्न्ड प्रीमियम एंड प्रीमियम इन एडवांस में फ़र्क क्या है?
Unearned premium and premium received in advance. See,
हुँ,
the difference is when you suppose you have received the premium, right, for the entire year, and you received it from 1st July. Suppose you have received the premium on 1st July for the entire year, right? So this will be
हुँ,
valid till your risk is covered till 30th June 2024. 1st July 2023 को मिला है premium and your risk is covered till 30th June 2024. So as on 31st March 2024, you will recognize income, premium income only for 9 months. You will
ओके।
recognize the premium income only for 9 months, yes or no? 1st July से
हुँ,
लेके 31st March तक के जितना प्रीमियम इनकम तुम्हारा बनता है उतना यू विल रिकॉग्नाइज ना. बिकॉज अदर
हुँ,
3 months का you will not recognize. You will treat this as unexpired risk reserve, URR. This is called as URR. So you will create a URR. You will suppose you received a premium of 100, so you will recognize a URR of 25. That means 25 is what? 3 by 12. 3 months of 2024 year, 2024 के 3 महीने, and divided by 12, this you will transfer it to next year, and
हुँ,
therefore you will recognize premium income of 75 only, that is 3/4. And therefore this 25 rupee that you have recognized, that you will be recognizing in next year, that is called as what? Unearned premium. This is unearned premium. This premium you have not yet earned. As on 31st March 2030 2024, you have not yet earned this premium. Fine. Then premium received in advance क्या है? Premium received in advance is nothing when you have, but just like when you have received the premium, although policy documents or something related to policy states that the risk will commence from next month, so or risk will commence from certain dates after the premium has been received. So suppose you have received premium as on 1st July, but the risk will commence from suppose 1st October. Risk will commence from 1st October. So till this period, this will be recognized in premium received in advance. Premium received in advance. Okay, that is the difference. Unearned premium and premium received in advance. In advance premium, you are receiving the premium in advance. However, that cannot be recognized as income because your risk has not yet commenced as per policy document, as per any other relevant documents. This, if you want to write, you can write this unearned premium versus premium received in advance. um, you got the understanding, so you can write on your own. Premium deficiency, what do you mean by premium deficiency? Then premium deficiency will be recognized if the sum of the unexpected, or sorry, sum of the expected claim cost related to expense maintenance cost exceeds related unearned premium. So suppose unearned premium was how much rupee? 25 rupee, right? And you expect that against this 25 rupee entire claim will occur. Entire claim will occur means what? The claim amounting to rupees, let's say 500 rupees, or your overall total claim can exceed your unearned premium, then that is called as what? Premium deficiency. कि जितना मेरा प्रीमियम बचा है, आई एक्सपेक्ट कि मेरा क्लेम उससे भी ज्यादा हो जाएगा. Premium to be earned. Till now, we are recognized as it as URR, unexpected risk reserve, and then we have transferred it to next year. That we will recognize this premium next year. However, now we expect कि claim cost will be even more than the unexpired risk reserve or unearned premium. And therefore, in that case, that is called as what? Premium deficiency. कि हमारा जितना premium recognize करना है next year, उससे ज्यादा तो next year claim cost हो सकती है. and therefore might be in deficiency as compared to the claims के रूप में अगर कंपेयर करोगे तो प्रीमियम might be deficient. So this also requires actuarial valuation if at all you feel that there will be premium deficiency and contract already exceeds 4 years. So जहाँ भी तुमको 4 year वाला मिल रहा है ना इंश्योरेंस ऑडिट में 4 years फॉर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्सीडिंग 4 years, देन यू विल रिकॉग्नाइज, देयर यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि वहाँ पे एक्चुअल वैल्यूएशन लगेगा, देयर यू विल नीड एक्चुअल वैल्यूएशन. Similarly here also in next point, actual valuation of claim liability. So claim liability for contracts exceeding 4 years shall be recognized on actual basis only. That means actual will have to do the valuation, and then it will do the valuation and accordingly certify how much is the claim liability. Yes, then Lakshmi, क्या था difference between unearned premium and premium received in advance? प्रीमियम रिसीव्ड इन एडवांस कहाँ पे डिस्क्लोज करोगे और एंड अनअर्न्ड प्रीमियम कहाँ पे डिस्क्लोज करोगे?
दोनों भी करंट लाइबिलिटीज में डिस्क्लोज करेंगे.
बट यहाँ पे क्या दिया है? करंट लाइबिलिटी में डिस्क्लोज करेंगे, बट कैन यू मिक्स बोथ?
नहीं, सेपरेट हेड में
Have to be
दिखाएंगे.
separately disclosed, separately. Premium received in advance will be separate line item and unearned premium will be a separate line item. ठीक है, कैन नॉट मिक्स बोथ. और किसी को कोई डाउट? अच्छा ये बताओ मेरे को, इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी, इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी के लिए कौन सा इंडेक्स है? विच इंडेक्स फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी? विच
So
इंडेक्स इज?
India is 40.
इंडेक्स 40, राइट? सो इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी, निकिता टेल मी that do we recognize it at cost or FVTPL or FVT OCI? All the investment property, where how do we recognize, at cost
So
or FVTPL?
recognize that cost.
We recognize it at cost, right? Correct. Why? Because this is for the our investment purpose, right? We are not here for trading that investment property. Your parents might have purchased any plot or any land for you, right? When you will grow, then it will be reaping the benefits. So that is not for sale or that is not for trading, and therefore we will recognize it at cost. Generally investment property is recognized as cost unless you start thinking about it as going it for sale. So when you are thinking that you will be keeping it for sale, then you are keeping it under Ind-AS 105, right? When you transfer it under Ind-AS 105 from Ind-AS 40, there you recognize at FVTPL. I mean transfer it at FVTPL. But before that you recognize at cost only. But see here, real estate investment property, they said that revaluation has to be done at least once in 3 years. So what will we do after this revaluation? क्या करेंगे revaluation का करके? If we have to recognize it at cost, revaluation has to be done in once in every 3 years. इन द केस ऑफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी, इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी रियल एस्टेट की रिवैल्यूएशन करो बोल रहा है एटलीस्ट वंस इन 3 years. व्हाट विल यू डू? व्हाट विल वी डू विद द रिवैल्यूएशन? डिस्क्लोजर करेक्ट निकिता. सो इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी का डिस्क्लोजर इज मस्ट ऑफ फेयर वैल्यू. अभी कितना चल रहा है? सो इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी यू नीड टू डिस्क्लोज की हाउ मच फेयर वैल्यू इट्स करेंटली द प्रॉपर्टी होल्ड्स, एंड द फेयर वैल्यू इज एक्चुअली डिस्क्लोज इन द नोट्स टू अकाउंट. However, you recognize the investment property at cost only. So revaluation has to be done at least once in 3 years. Once in 3 years, revaluation will be done. ठीक है? So these small points you need to be aware about if at all a MCQ comes. ठीक है, I don't think any other doubt will be there. This I have already told you कि security shall be considered as being not actively traded अगर उसका trading volume is less than equal to 10,000 units in any trading session during the last 12 months. ठीक है, तो then it will be called as what? Thinly traded company. लोन्स को हमेशा अपन किस पे रिकॉग्नाइज करते हैं? हाउ डू वी रिकॉग्नाइज लोन्स? एडवांसेस. इफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी हैज गिवन एनी लोन्स टू एनी अदर कंपनी और कॉर्पोरेट, वी ऑलवेज रिकॉग्नाइज लोन्स एट अमोर्टाइज कॉस्ट मेथड, राइट? एसीएम में ही होगा रिकॉग्नाइज लोन्स तो. एफवीटीपीएल एफवीटीओ से सुने क्या कभी? ठीक है. Now come to audit of accounts of general insurance business. Audit of accounts of general insurance business. We'll start with what? Premium. So premium में you'll see कि objective of insurance internal control over premium is to ensure कि correct premium is calculated and collected. So again, once again, as I told you earlier as well, कि very important point internal control. हर जगह आएगा ही आएगा. Everywhere it will come. Internal control, first point will be what? Internal controls over premium is to ensure कि correct premium calculated रहे and is also collected before acceptance of any risk, and that the premium is accounted for in an appropriate manner. How do you account premium? Cash debit or to premium income. So premium has to be recognized when you receive it, or either you have received the guarantee, or either you have received any deposit against that premium, right? Then only you will recognize it as income as per section 64 VB. Section 64 VB. So again, this section has to be populated. Very important section. Mark this again so that you revise it. You have to be thorough with this section. Section 64 VB. कोई सेक्शन नंबर याद रहे ना रहे, इंश्योरेंस एक्ट का ये सेक्शन नंबर याद रहना चाहिए. एंड व्हाट डज इट सेज कि नो इंश्योरर कैन अज्यूम एनी रिस्क इन इंडिया in respect of any insurance business on which premium is ordinarily payable in India, unless and until the premium payable is either received by us or is guaranteed by other person in such manner and time as may be prescribed, and unless or until the deposit of such amount as may be prescribed has been received by the insurer as an advance or as a deposit. So then only you can recognize the premium income. ठीक है. Now you'll recognize, yeah, you'll start with what? Verifying of premiums. Verification of premiums. So whatever policy you should collect the premium in respect of those policies only, right? Assumption of the risk will start from either the issuance of a policy document or any equivalent document that evidences risk has been accepted by the company. So I can say that in effect, overall total, if you conclude the provision with respect to premium income recognition, then an assumption of the risk will start as per the issue of policy document, and therefore premium income should be recognized either as on the date of issuance of the policy document or the assumption of the risk, or you have received the premium income, whichever is later, right? And then you'll see key verification of premium. Other point is receipt is recorded only when the risk is accepted by the company. Money received against which the company has not issued a policy document, cover note, or any other document that evidences acceptance of risk is recorded as a liability. So if you have not started with the risk, if you have not issued policy document against the risk, or if you have not received premium income, then that is recorded as a liability. That means what? If the policy document has not yet started, if the policy document, that means risk not commenced, but premium received, then you will do what entry? Cash account debit to advance premium, right? And this advance premium is what? Your liability. You'll recognize this as what? Liability. Now premium may be accepted either in cash, check, demand draft, pay order, bank guarantee, whatever any mode, and credited to separate bank account, because this is a fund of policy holder. So I told you yesterday also कि policy holder का fund अलग, shareholder का fund अलग, right? Policy holder funds and shareholder funds should be maintained separately. Then collections are then transferred to the regional office or head office, obviously if it is received by the branch. And as soon as the insurance policy is issued, an entry is made in the registrar of policies कि registrar of policy में you enter the entry कि ये insurance policy चालू हो गई है. Now see, look into the internal control again. How do you verify? Internal control देखेंगे. You will review the system used by company to collect money, underwrite, issue the policy. Auditor to understand overall system architecture and data flow कैसा हो रहा है. All cover notes for motor business are serially numbered for each class of business. It's just like the ticket number, right? So ticket number should be serially numbered. Similarly, all cover notes for all insurance business particularly for motor businesses are serially numbered for each class of business. Then account of premium income of that year on the basis of premium revenue recognition. Also see whether the premium received during the year but pertaining to risk commencing in the following year has been accounted for under the head premium received in advance. That means what? Just like when I told you, just in today's doubt class, Dhanlakshmi's doubt was what? Ki premium received in advance kya hai and unearned premium kya hai. So premium received in advance, see, they are saying what? Ki premium received during the year. During the year you have received the premium, but pertaining to risk which will commence in the following year. So risk has not yet started. Risk has not yet started, although you have received the premium. Then that is called as what? Premium received in advance. Unearned premium is what? You have received the premium. However, the risk will arise in next year. In overall, the risk commenced in year itself. The risk has commenced in year itself, but only the partial risk is covered. The rest of the risk will be covered in the remaining year, and therefore we recognize what? URR, unexpired risk reserve, and transfer the proportionate premium income to the next year. ठीक है? Auditor should verify that policy documents have not been issued in case. This question came in December 2021. Auditor should verify कि policy documents have not been issued. Auditor should verify कि policy documents have not been issued अगर premium collect ही नहीं हुआ है. Premium had not been collected. Premium had been collected but the relevant checks have been dishonored. Premium collect हो गया था via check but check got dishonored. Then premium had not immediately been collected due to furnishing of bank guarantee or cash deposit, but there is a shortfall in bank guarantee account for cash deposit. So you have not received the premium exactly. However, you received guarantee. So when you receive guarantee, then you can recognize the premium income. Yes or no? Yes. Yes, we can recognize based on section 64 VB. However, it says that you will not issue policy document because it might be so that the guarantee amount is less or there is a shortfall in the guarantee, bank guarantee. So if there is a shortfall in bank guarantee, then you will not issue the policy document. And premium had not been collected due to risk cover being increased or where stipulated limits have been exhausted. So if you have increased the risk as per client demand, as per customer demand, so whatever limit your risk or risk cover, whatever has increased, because of which you need to receive extra premium income now, right? Since you have increased the risk cover also, but you have not yet received the extra premium income, therefore you will not issue the policy document here also. And installments of premium have not been collected in time in respect of certain categories of policies. Example, marine cum erection policies, where facility has been granted for premium being paid in installments. So if you have not received installments of premium on time, ठीक है, on certain categories, example marine cum erection policy, what they have said, then you will again not issue the policy document. And premium has been collected but policy has not issued for long periods of time, so there also policy will not be issued. Now see, you have to see here, check here, examine ki kya reinsurance company is not under a risk in respect of amount lying at credit outstanding as at year end in the following accounts. Why they are at risk? Because these are not yet received by us. So premium deposit account हो गया, premium received in advance account हो गया, inspectors deposit account हो गया, agents premium account हो गया. So you have to see whether reinsurance company is not under a risk. Why reinsurance company will be under a risk? Because in effect when we will recognize the premium income when we receive the amount from here, right? प्रीमियम डिपॉजिट से जब अपने को मिल जाएगा प्रीमियम रिसीव इन एडवांस से व्हेन वी ट्रांसफर इट टू प्रीमियम इनकम अकाउंट. सिमिलरली इंस्पेक्टर डिपॉजिट हो गया, एजेंट्स प्रीमियम अकाउंट हो गया. सो व्हेन वी विल रिकॉग्नाइज देन ओनली वी विल ट्रांसफर टू reinsurance company. So reinsurance company will then recognize the premium income based on the advice that we will issue to the reinsurance company. So reinsurance company should not be under a risk in respect of amount lying at credit or outstanding as at year end in all these following accounts, right? Then they also talk about co-insurance business. So co-insurance business particularly they talk about two things. You can be either a leader or you can be a no, you cannot be the leader in the co-insurance. So what do you mean by co-insurance? It is similar like syndicate banking. You might have heard of this, right? Syndicate banking, like example where Reliance, Adani, no single bank can lend that huge amount. Then what happens generally is that pool of banks, major 4 or 5 banks, give amount of loan to the parties, the big parties like this. And there generally is one lead banker who will actually interact with the client, who will actually interact with the Ambaniji or Reliance or Adani, whatever be the case. So that one bank is called as what? Lead banker, who actually manages everything. However, the interest and every portion is received and enjoyed by all the banks. However, that one bank will enjoy, or that one bank will be the leader, or that we call this what? Lead banker, right? Similarly, here in the case of co-insurance business, insurance cover is provided by not single company but by two or three companies, two or more than two companies, right? So when two or more than two companies provide insurance business, transact insurance business with the same client, one client only, एक ही client है, then that is called as what? Co-insurance business. There you can be leader. Leader means what? You will only be interacting with the client, you will be interacting with the insured, insuree जो है अपना, and you will be the leader and you will be called as what? Co-insurer leader, co-insurer leader. So if you are the leader, then own share of premium has been shown as income and accounts of the other companies have been credited with their share of the premium collected. That means what entry you will pass? You will pass what entry? जब तुमको प्रीमियम मिल गया है, so you are the leader, right? So you will receive 100% of the premium. So 100% own share of the premium has been shown as income. We will own share अपना suppose say 60% है, the 60% versus 40% with the co-insurer. So 60% will recognize in premium income, 60% belongs to us, right? And rest 40% that will be shown and that will be credited with the share of the premium collected to other company. So suppose X Limited is our co-insurer. So you'll recognize cash debit 100% to premium income, 60% to X Limited, 40%. If you are the leader. But if you are not the leader, then company share of premium has been accounted for on going basis, on the basis of available information. This available information is called as what? Advice. Advice. Once we receive the advice फ्रॉम द लीडर को इंश्योरर जो है उससे एक बार एडवाइस मिल जाएगी एंड प्रोविजनल प्रीमियम चार्ज बाय लीडिंग इंश्योरर. सो वी हैव टू चेक व्हाट एडवाइस एंड बेस्ड ऑन एडवाइस वी विल रिकॉग्नाइज द इनकम. वी विल रिकॉग्नाइज हाउ? वी विल रिकॉग्नाइज जो लीडर है ना, लीडर को इंश्योरर लीडर जो है, वी विल डेबिट दैट एंड वी विल रिकॉग्नाइज द प्रीमियम इनकम 40%. आई होप एवरीवन इज गेटिंग दिस. Based on the advice, we will recognize the premium income. We will debit the co-insurer, leader अपना जो है नेता, and also recognize the premium income 40%. Any doubt in co-insurance? So you have 2 points with respect to co-insurance. Then there are so many points given premium income. So verification of the collections lodged by the agents after balance sheet date. So जो आफ्टर बैलेंस शीट डेट है प्रीमियम इनकम आ रही है, सो यू हैव टू चेक कि भाई कोई ऐसी प्रीमियम से इनकम तो नहीं है, देयर इज देयर एनी प्रीमियम इनकम which has been received after the year by the agent. However, I mean, from the agent, we have received it on suppose 2nd of April. We have received the premium income from the agent. However, agent has received before 31st March. So we should recognize this premium income before year end, right? That is in the current year. We should recognize the premium income in the current year. And therefore, we will check what? All the agents collection that they have collected after balance sheet date to see whether any collections pertains to risk commencing for year under audit. And similarly also check that premium has been recorded originally at gross figure without providing for unexpired risk. So when you recognize premium, you recognize at 100%, right? And then you might deduct reinsurance, then you recognize deduct reinsurance, and then again suppose URR. So then outer column में तुम्हारा आता है क्या? Net premium, net premium. So they are talking about what? Premium. Premium तो 100% में recognize होगा gross amount पे. Premium will be recognized at gross amount only, right? And then auditor should verify whether installments falling due on or before balance sheet date. This is, they are talking about installments. Okay, fine. Just mark the difference. They are talking about installments, not the premium starting installments. Installments is pending before balance sheet date. So whether received or not, you will account the premium income for the current year only. So if you, even if you have not received the installment, you will recognize the premium income for the year under audit. ठीक है? They are talking about installment and not the premium receipt. Total की बात नहीं हो रही, only installment. So few installments you might have received. Now check that amount received during the year in respect of risk commencing installments falling due on or after the first day of next financial year are not credited to premium account but credited to premium received in advance account, right? So again they have explained what do you mean by premium received in advance. So you can read all these points. Refund case दे दिया, GST properly charge कियो कि नहीं कियो premium income में, GST if not deposited to government, so they have, whether have you disclosed the same under current liability or not. If you have collected GST but not paid to government. Similarly, co-insurance business के case में they have given 2 points. 14th, then money collected by agents should be received by the company as soon as practicable, and check whether bank guarantees against which policies are issued are valid or not. So that was with respect to premium. Just give it a reading. I don't expect a 4 or 5 marks to come from this verification of premium. ठीक है, ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा तुमको 4-5 मार्क के लिए. बट अगेन देयर कुड बी स्मॉल स्मॉल पॉइंट्स विच दे कैन आस्क. ठीक है, स्मॉल पॉइंट्स लाइक प्रीमियम रिसीव्ड इन एडवांस. And then this question like this, a b c d e f, 6 points were given inside a point, right? So one point was there where you don't have to issue policy document, where you don't have to issue the policy document, so they have asked it separately for 5 marks. So they generally ask question where they feel ki ha this is feasible to ask for 5 marks, but the question like this पूरा का पूरा premium बताओ, that won't be asked. However, you should be aware कि co-insurance leader के केस में क्या होगा. Co-insurance non, if they are not the leader, then what will do. And similarly other small small points. Now come to claims. Claim cost. Claim cost. So yesterday also we discussed. मुझे बताओ claim settlement cost है. जो claim settlement cost है, example your survey fees, legal fees, FIR cost and all the costs relating to claim settlement, loss assessor. Whether this will form part of claim cost or whether this will form part of claim settlement अलग से differently. Yesterday I have told you, if you recollect, whether this will form part of claim cost or whether this will be separately treated as claim settlement cost. So Dhanlakshmi is saying it will form part of claim cost only, right? So that is the correct answer. It will form part of claim cost only. So just remember this, they can ask that claim under policy भी claim cost के अंदर आता है, plus all the expenses that you incurred for settling of these claims will also form part of claim cost only. Internal control, again second most important point. Internal control, again it has come कि internal control should be prevalent and established over claims to ensure कि bona fide claims are only paid and not forged claims. It should be bona fide claims. Cost of claims are properly recorded and disclosed in the financial statement, right? And liability for outstanding claims should be brought to the account for the following. Like for direct business also you recognize the claim. For inward reinsurance business के case में भी, if the claim occurs, then we will have to pay, right? We will have to pay to the main insurance company. The main insurance company will actually pay 100% of the claim to the client, and we will reimburse the proportion by which we are responsible, right? The risk for which we were responsible. So inward reinsurance business के केस में जो inward reinsurance आया अपने पास, for that also we will be recognizing claim outstanding. And co-insurance business के केस में definitely if whatever be the share of us, right, that also we will recognize at claim cost. Very very important, register and record this. They have asked separately for 5 marks. What will be included in registration, registers and record? So first is very very simple, just pay attention. First register is with respect to what? Claim intimation register. So once you have been intimated by the client कि भैया इतना claim बन रहा है हमारा, so then it will be registered under where? Claim intimation register. When intimated by client, right? Customer or insured. Similarly claims paid register. जो तुम्हारा claims paid register means what? That you have accepted the claim that yes you will pay, and then finally you will recognize the entry in claim disbursement bank book once you actually pay in cash, right? So claim disbursement bank book, claims paid register, claims intimation. Then comes claim dockets. Dockets, you mean dockets, what do you mean by dockets? It's kind of a bunch of files. So a lot of files included in the claim dockets. Example they have given is claim intimation हो गया, claim form हो गया, particulars of policy, survey report, photograph showing the damage, FIR की report हो गई, letter of subrogation. Now again, what do you mean by letter of subrogation? Anyone? This you might have read in class 12th if you recollect. Letter of subrogation. Any guesses what could be letter of subrogation? Letter of subrogation is nothing but what? In the case of first party insurance, generally what will happen? Ki suppose uh, I I met an accident, suppose, and my vehicle is also damaged. Transfer of liability. subrogation. Yeah, you can say so, but how exactly the liability is transferred, that we let's see by the example. Suppose I am at an accident and my vehicle is also damaged. My vehicle is also damaged. ठीक है? My vehicle is also damaged. So in that case, you will see कि I'll be getting reimbursed for my vehicle, right? I'll be getting reimbursed for my vehicle from the insurance company. But the insurance company, the loss that has been incurred by the insurance company, they can take up with the party who has committed the accident. That means whose mistake was there. जो सामने वाली पार्टी जिसने ठोका ना, the insurance company can make that fronting party to make the payment to the insurance company. So if I allow so for allowing me for allowing, I have to issue a letter of subrogation कि भैया you can claim the expenses related to my reimbursement from that party, since this was a first party reinsurance. So letter of subrogation is like where you can take the blame to other party and take the claim reimbursement from them. ठीक है, letter of subrogation also will be included in claims docket. Similarly then your FIR in case of theft, fire service report हो गई, claim settlement note. Claim settlement note is what? Once your claim is being disbursed and paid to you, unqualified claim settlement note has to be issued. So generally insurance company do what? They bring with them claim settlement note and they get yourself signed also. So they'll get your sign and they'll say ki undischarged, like this is unqualified discharge. The insurance has been discharged with all its responsibility via claim settlement note, claim discharge voucher. ये सब साइन करवाते क्लेम इंश्योरेंस वाले. Then report of quality assurance team, and lastly salvage register. So who will take the salvage? जो बचा कुचा है salvage है, who will take with either the insured or insurer? Who will take the salvage and can again generate the somewhat income? Suppose 100 crores का गोडाउन डैमेज हो गया, 100 crores का माल था and 100 crores goods got damaged and 10 crores is like the salvage value which is left of all the goods present. So Suneshwaran is saying insured. Then Lakshmi is also saying insured. Ki insured will be the owner of salvage property. So this 10 crore, insured will be the owner of the salvage property. Generally, it is correct. If insured is giving this 10 crore or giving the claim in the claim amount, na, the salvage amount is also included. Then the salvage belongs to insured. However, if the claim is net of salvage, if claim is net of salvage, that means whatever the claim amount, we deducted the salvage amount from them because we assume कि इतना salvage तो anyway insurer. अच्छा, you have said insured ना. Generally you are wrong then Lakshmi and Suneshwaran. The salvage will belong to insurer. The salvage will belong to the insurer if they have paid the claims including salvage. However, claims, if generally you'll find कि claims are paid including salvage only. So if claims have not been paid, I mean, if they have paid net of salvage means more support claims was happening around to be 50 crores. 50 crore का claim हो रहा है, then we paid only 40 crores. So 10 crore salvage we didn't pay. So this 10 crore salvage, if we have not paid, then salvage will belong to then insured. तब insured का salvage होगा. ठीक है? It's basic simple logic. Just go through this once. Claims वाला. What registers you will make. Done. It's simple only कि पहला intimation हो गया. When you will be intimated of the claim, then you will be entering in the claim intimation register. फिर once you have accepted the claim, then you will enter it in the claims paid register. Then once you have actually paid or disbursed the amount, then you will enter it in claims disbursement register. फिर तुम्हारा claim dockets हो गया. There will be multiple register and documents in the claim dockets. And then quality assurance team के जो documents है. And lastly your salvage register. Salvage register you will maintain. If you have paid the claims including the salvage amount, then you will also maintain the register of salvage and enter the same. Now verification of claims. So they'll start with what? Provisioning, first of all. Claims provisions. So you have to obtain from all the division and branches information with respect to each class of business, and then categorize the claim value wise, categorize the claims. Determine how many number of total documents need to be checked given due importance to higher claims. So for higher claims, you will check all the documents. Above, we just saw about so many register, right? Register records. Similarly, there will be lot many documents. So for higher claims, you need to check all the documents thoroughly. Thereafter, based on the total consolidated figure for all the division branches, the head office considers a further provision in respect of outstanding claims. Auditor need to satisfy that estimated liability provided for by management is adequate. जितना भी you are provision ना, your provision, overall provision is adequate. So see, average clause has to be applied in case of under insurance by party. Under insurance means what? Suppose on an average capacity of your shop, capacity of your shop is of rupee 10 lakh. ठीक है? However, you took the insurance for 7.5 lakh. Now, as on date of fire, suppose there were rupee 5 lakh goods और ये डैमेज हो गए. These have been damaged. These have been damaged. So what should be the claim amount? Tell me. What do you think the claim amount will be? 5 lakh or will it be 7.5 lakh or will it be 10 lakh? Claim amount कितना होगा? How much claim will the insurance company accept? बोलो. 5 lakh, Nikita. You got the question right. 10 lakh is the average capacity that the shop can hold the goods for. However, we took the insurance for 7.5 lakh. And now, as on the date of fire, there were goods amounting to rupees 5 lakh. We took the insurance for 7.5 lakh. How much insurance the claim will be accepted by the insurance company? 5 lakh or any other amount? 3.75 lakh. 3.75 lakh, correct. Why? Because of average clause. Average clause is there, right? So तुम लोग ज्यादा शाने बन रहे थे. You were getting over smart by not taking the insurance of average capacity, right? You instead took how much? 7.5 lakh. 7.5 lakh का insurance लिया, जबकि you should have taken how much? 10 lakhs. So now whatever the insurance claims will be, the claim will be average. The claim will be average. So 5 lakh into 7.5 divided by 10. You should have taken for 10 lakh. However, you took for 7.5 lakh. Therefore, proportionate damage will be disbursed to you as a claim. Getting this? Proportionate damage will only be disbursed to you as a claim because of average clause. You should have taken 10 lakh insurance. Premium you should have paid higher. Then you would have got full disbursement. ठीक है निकिता? Yes or no? ठीक है
सो
एवरीवन? हाँ.
जैसे हम एलआईसी में एक से ज्यादा 2 पॉलिसी ले सकते हैं, वैसे ये वाले जो अदर इंश्योरेंस में हम एक से ज्यादा पॉलिसी ले सकते हैं?
Yes, you can take two different policy like I have currently right now. I already my health insurance been run with my family. ठीक है, family insurance policy है already. Similarly, there is also an health insurance policy which is covered by my employee, right? So in case anything happens, then both will proportionately, disburse the claim.
हाँ, तो वो
Proportionately.
लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का हो गया। लेकिन ये जो अदर इंश्योरेंस में जैसे अभी गोडाउन का है, जैसे अभी अपना अपना जो एग्ज़ाम्पल था, इसमें ही अपन तो फिर दोनों जगह से क्लेम करेंगे ना?
You will take the claims from both, but you will not get the double claim ना. जितना claim बन रहा है तुम्हारा 3.75, you will get that much only. That 3.75 will be borne by both the insurance company.
अच्छा, ओके।
3.75, you will not get extra claim. You'll get the claim 3.75 only, but that will be borne by both the insurance company. Generally you won't be paying premium
3.75 प्लस 3.75 नहीं होगा?
no, no.
ओके।
एंड सर इन केस ऑफ ओवर इंश्योरेंस फिर मिल सकता है?
ओवर इंश्योरेंस में you'll get the insured amount. जितना 5 lakh का लॉस हुआ you'll get 5 lakh, whatever loss you incurred. And obviously
नहीं,
there
अपना
are
प्रॉपर्टी
some of
10
the other
लाख का ही
deductions
है।
which has been done in the claims as per the policy. You will never get 100% of the claim amount, damage amount. So you will get 90-80% generally. So ओवर इंश्योरेंस के केस में यू वांट क्या 5 लाख का 7.5 लाख का क्लेम चाहिए तुमको?
अगर अपना प्रॉपर्टी 10 लाख का ही है, हमने ज्यादा इंश्योरेंस करवाया, होता है क्या सर? बट वैसे लाइक 15
नहीं,
लाख का
फर्स्ट
इंश्योरेंस।
ऑफ ऑल उतना इंश्योरेंस ज्यादा का कर नहीं पाओगे तुम. एंड इवन इफ यू डू, बट देन ऑल्सो द डैमेज अमाउंट विल ओनली बी रिम्बर्स ना. डैमेज हुआ ही नहीं, उससे ज्यादा क्यों देगी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी? सी, इंश्योरेंस इज वेरी वेरी ट्रिकी. वंस यू टेक go for claim, you'll never get 100% of the claim, that is for
100%।
sure. I have seen myself, I have seen in the cases of my friends as well, there is some or the other minute thing that they will come up in the policy because of these terms and condition or that, and you will not get the claim. ठीक है. Now comes salvage recovered. Salvage recovered has been duly accounted, right? So whatever salvage you have recovered, will have to do the accounting for that salvage also, and the letter of subrogation has been obtained or not. Deposits with the court. Suppose now that your claim has gone to the courts. Claim has gone to the courts means what? Suppose insurance company was not accepting your claim amount, however you were insisting ki nahi, the insurance company is wrong, but now insurance company is not giving you the claim, so you will complain, right? You will complain in court of law. So now suppose the case is been pending in dispute under court of law, then in that case insurance company might have deposited some amount as claims. ठीक है, कुछ क्लेम का सपोज 100 crore का क्लेम है, देन दे माइट हैव डिपॉजिटेड 20 crore एज डिपॉजिट, कि if they lose then they will have to pay 80 crores more and pay to the client 100 crores in total, right? So suppose they have deposited 20 crores, 20 crores as deposit. So this deposit is not claims, right? This is not claims. Actually this has not turned out to be actual claims. Till now insurance company have not lost the case. So adequate provision is to be made and deposits are stated separately. This deposit will be stated under asset size, and provisions are not made net of such deposit. Provisions are not made net of such deposits. That means what? That means what? Ki suppose your balance sheet is this. So liability में your provisioning, you will do the provisioning for whatever amount you want to provide for. Suppose 50 CR, you will provide it. And the deposit that you have, the deposit will be shown separately for 20 CR. It should not happen ki you are netting off the provision. You are netting off the provision of 50 CR minus deposits that you already have with the court of law, and therefore you are showing it the provision as 30 CR only. So the disclosure has to be done accordingly, separately. That means deposits का disclosure अलग and provisions will be disclosed in full amount and not net of the deposit. Netting नहीं करनी है. Then unsettled claim as at year end. So provision made if claim lodged or communicated. Date of loss is important. That means what? If the claims has not yet been settled and provision has been made, so we have to check the date of loss क्या है, not the date of communication. Example, suppose date of loss is 21st March 2023, and communication date is suppose 10th April 2023. So which accordingly tell me in which year you will recognize this claim. You will recognize this claim in 2022-2023, right? FY 22-23. Why? Because they are saying date of loss is important and not the date of communication. Therefore any unsettled claim as at year end, you have to provide for the unsettled claims. You have to make provision for those claims which has not been settled by you. Are everyone getting this or not? Date of loss is important, not the date of communication. This small minute point has to be kept in mind. Loss हुआ वो important है. जिस दिन fire broke out, that is important, not actually when you are communicating the same to the insurance company. So insurance company will recognize it in 2020 to 2023 and will provide for the same. For a claim under litigation, then provision has to be made for accordingly, right? For claims and litigation, insurance company having provision or default provision based on a formula which is based on past, this certified by claims head or appointed actuary. So all the default provision that this much of the provision, this much of the premium we will not be receiving, or this much of the provisioning we have to do, we have to provide for based on the any past trend, past observation, right? So certified by claims head or appointed actuary. In some cases claims are incurred by insurance company but are not reported at balance sheet date. Those are called as what? IBNR, incurred but not reported. That means you have incurred the claim but you have not reported the claim. IBNR, incurred but not reported. And calculation of IBNR has to be done by the appointed actuary only. No contingent liability is carried in respect of any claim intimated in respect of policies issued, right? So contingent liability is not to be provided for, rather provision has to be given unless the amount is probable and the amount cannot be recognized. Unless the the case is probable and the amount cannot be recognized. So there were two cases, right? Possible obligation or probable obligation. If it is possible obligation, then to contingent liability recognize hoti hai. But however, if it is probable and you can recognize the amount, you can measure the amount, then it is recognized as provision only and not contingent liability. Similarly, events after balance sheet date का provision आ जाएगा यहाँ पे. Co-insurance agreement you will have to see कि I am providing for my own share of liability. Provisions are made or contingent liability disclosed for all claims. Intimation of loss is received within a reasonable time. So let's try to learn at least few of the points from this claims, verification of claims. See, so I was an average guy, right? But then I was converted into savage. So I got turned into savage. I was an average guy. Then I got turned into savage. Now I am asking for subrogation claim. Therefore, since I am not getting my subrogation claim, I went to court. I went to court. Years passed by, but no communication happened. So many years has been passed, but no communication is being there from the court of law. You know Indian courts. So legal advice actuary se liya. That means I got the legal advice from the actuary. And with respect to this contingent liability, after so many events after the balance sheet date, I got agreed with the co-insurer. I got agreed, I mean the claims actually got then settled, or my subrogation then actually got settled. पार्टनर हो गया, मतलब ओवरऑल यू कैन से को इंश्योरेंस मिल गया, मुझे भागीदारी मिल गई, मेरे को मेरी मेरी भागीदारी, मेरा पार्टनरशिप, मेरी जो भागीदारी को इंश्योरेंस थी वो मुझे मिल गई. सो लेट्स सी व्हाट ऑल पॉइंट्स. एवरेज से एवरेज क्लॉज हो गया, एवरेज से एवरेज क्लॉज हो गया, फर्स्ट पॉइंट एवरेज क्लॉज. देन सैवेज, सैवेज से व्हाट? सैल्वेज, राइट? Salvage is okay. Then letter of subrogation claim. Letter of subrogation मांग रहा था I was. So deposits with court and also will come, right? Court चला गया, so court will what? Deposits.
So you are not audible.
So I was saying कि point wise let's see one by one. Average से अपना average clause हो गया, salvage से अपना salvage हो गया, right? Salvage वाला point कि salvage recovered has been properly accounted for. Then letter of subrogation आ गया अपना, letter of subrogation obtained. So I got converted into savage banda, and subrogation claim, I went for subrogation claim. However, they were not giving it, so I went to court of law. I went to court. So court से which point will come? Deposits with court will be treated as an asset, and जितना भी provision बना रहे हो shall not be netted off with this deposit. Provision has to be disclosed separately. Years passed by, no communication. So communication as a tier end, communication as a tier end. The point was there, right? Unsettled claims as a tier end, so provision has to be provided for. And for this what is important? Date of loss or date of communication? Date of loss is important. Date of loss is important, right? Then legal advice मांगा मैंने actually से. Legal advice means what? All the legal advice claims under litigation, provision has to be provided for all those legal advices as well. And then actuary से you have to get the certificate. IBNR claims के particularly for IBNR claims. IBNR claims is what? Claims have been incurred but not been reported till now by the customer. Still we have to provide for those claims because we know that customer will anytime come and ask for the claim. So anyway, we will provide for those claims which have been incurred but not reported by the client, by the customer. Actually से लिया with respect to contingent liability and events of after balance sheet date के बाद मुझे finally I got the co-insurance. So we'll get all these points here. ठीक है. Now come to claims paid. Claims paid. Or if you want, you can just give it a reading once. Kick, how will you verify the claims? This is RTP May 20 का question. Verification of claims. चलो. Come to claims paid now. Claims paid. So it says that auditor has to check claims paid on the same line as suggested for claims. However, he has to check for further more points in respect of claims paid. That means these are all extra points. So if they ask for claims paid, you will also have to write these all points as well. 1 से लेके 13 तक. Whatever points you could recall based on the trick how we learned, right? कि मैं average था, फिर then I converted into savage. I went for subrogation claims, but since I was not getting, I went to court. कोर्ट में मैंने डिपॉजिट दिया था, राइट? एंड देन सालों बीत गए, देयर वाज नो कम्युनिकेशन. सालों बीत गए, नो कम्युनिकेशन वाज देयर. सो लीगल एक्चुअरी डिपार्टमेंट, लीगल एडवाइस लिया मैंने, एक्चुअरी से लिया. एंड कंटीजेंट लायबिलिटी, बहुत सारे इवेंट्स आफ्टर बैलेंस शीट डेट के बाद आई वाज पॉसिबल टू हैव अ को इंश्योरर. ऐसा कुछ करके लिंक करके याद रखो. एंड देन क्लेम्स पेड में हाउ वी लर्न वाज कि 2 पॉइंट्स आर फ्रॉम को इंश्योरेंस एंड 2 पॉइंट्स आर फ्रॉम री इंश्योरेंस. ठीक है, दो पॉइंट्स है हर से. 2 पॉइंट्स आर फ्रॉम को इंश्योरेंस, 2 पॉइंट्स आर फ्रॉम री इंश्योरेंस. देन अगेन 2 पॉइंट्स आर फ्रॉम सेटलमेंट एंड 1 पॉइंट इज फ्रॉम सैंक्शन. 30 डेज में हो जाना चाहिए. सो फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ सैंक्शन claim has to be paid within 30 days. 30 days में claim has to be paid from the date the claims has been accepted by the insurance company. It should pay within 30 days then thereafter. So let's see first point. Just read first point and tell me whether here in this co-insurance agreement, co-insurance arrangement, whether we are leader or not. In first point, in the case of co-insurance arrangement, claims have been booked only in respect of company's share and the balance has been debited to other insurance company. Are we leader or not?
Leader.
We are leader, right? Because we are booking the claims and we are booking the other party, debiting the other party that yeah, debiting the other party because we will be paying the entire amount. We will be paying the entire amount. So the entry will be what? That in the case of co-insurance arrangement, claims have been paid. Claims have been paid. Claims have been paid 100%. So we will debit what? Suppose co-insurer, our co-insurer X Limited. And what is our share? Claim expense, claim cost expense, whatever be the claim cost expense debited to bank, right? 100%, 60%, 40%. So 40% claims will be from co-insurer, right? Similarly, in the second case where we are not the leader, so in that case, in claims paid on the basis of advices received from the leader insurance company, अगर लीडर से एडवाइस जब मिला उसके बेसिस पे अगर तुम क्लेम्स पे कर रहे हो, तो whether the share of premium was also received by the company and claims communicated after the year end for losses which occurred before year end must be accounted in the year of audit. They are saying कि जो claims अपन तुम based on advice whatever claims you are incurring, whether you have also received the premium or not. Premium भी मिला है ना, against which we are paying the claims. So check once again कि whatever claims you are paying, you have received the premium against it. And secondly, whatever claims you are paying, you should pay only for the year under audit, only for the losses that was incurred prior to the balance sheet end date. Date of loss is important, remember, right? Not the date of communication. So loss has occurred prior to the balance sheet end date. Loss under the year of audit has to be recognized and not afterwards. Then these 2 points are from what? Co-insurance. Co-insurance के दोनों points हो गए. that claims are not paid if premiums are not received as per section 64 VB. So 64 VB के according, if you have not received the risk premium, then you will not recognize or pay the claim. This question generally comes in exam. This question generally comes that there they give कि you issued the policy documents on suppose 1st July. However, you received the premium on 10th July, but the claim has been lodged by the complainant, by the claimant on 5th July, that they have incurred losses. They have incurred losses and they have lodged the payment on, they have lodged the complaint and claim on 5th July. So since you have not received the amount premium till 10th July, you will not assume the risk, right? And since you will not assume the risk, you will not accept the claim. You will not accept the claim. No claim has to be accepted if the payment has not been received as per section 64 VB of this act. Now, claims payment sanctioned by the authority and should be acknowledged by the claimant. So it has to be sanctioned by the regular authority who is generally sanctioning the claim, and has to be also acknowledged by the claim. Deposits with code, generally we already know this point, right? Deposits with code, is it a claim expense or is it an asset? Is it an expense or is it an asset? Deposit with codes, is it an expense or asset? It's an asset, right? So that is what they are saying, that has to be shown as asset till final disposal of such claims. Full provision to be made for such claim, that means provision should not be netted off. No netting, no netting, right? Then claims partially settled have been duly vouched. That means what? If you are not completely settling the claims, partially you are settling the claims, then you need to be aware कि जो partial settlement हो रहा है ना claims का, the same authority should be there for sanctioning the total claims. So the authority that sanctioned the total claim should also authorize the partial settlement of claims. There should not be different authorities. So claim partially settled have been duly vouched. In such cases, the sanctioning authority should be the same as the one which has power in respect of the total claims amount. So partial settlement shall also be sanctioned by the same authority who has the power to sanction the total claims amount. And then in the case of final settlement of claims, claimant has been given an unqualified discharge note. I told you, right? Ki after the claim has been disbursed, paid to you, we will be signing with you that you will sign with us ki there is now no responsibility of the insurance company to give anything to you. That means unqualified discharge note. Unqualified discharge note. And that the figures of claim wherever communicated for the year by the division to the HO for the purpose of reinsurance claim have been reconciled with the trial balance figure. So reinsurance business के दो point थे, I told you, right? Reinsurance business के दो point थे. You can go through the same. And then payments have been made in within 30 days of receipt of the last document received. So whatever last document you have received, you should pay the claim within 30 days. 30 days में claim का payment हो जाना चाहिए. Important MCQ can come from here. The whatever last document that you received from the claimant, you should pay to the claimant all the claim amount within 30 days. And that the salvage recovered has been duly accounted and letter of subrogation obtained, all those previous points. Facultative reinsurance arrangement, prior approval of the reinsurer should be obtained. That means what? If it is a facultative reinsurance, you will all get to know what is facultative, what is treaty reinsurance, and other points. I'll share the video. But in the case of reinsurance, you also need to take prior approval before accepting the claim. Why? Because reinsurer is also the, you know, re- reinsurer is also, reinsurer is also the insurer, right? He is also insuring and he will be also bearing the claims. So you should also take the prior approval of the reinsurer before the claim has been paid. Before you pay the claim, take the prior approval of the reinsurer as well, right? So all these points are with respect to claims paid. It's simple only. Two points are from co-insurance, 2 points are from reinsurance. Then settlement से 2 point है. What points were there for settlement? One was partial settlement, one was full settlement. So partial settlement के case में you need to remember कि partial settlement should also be sanctioned by the same authority who has the power to sanction the total settlement amount. And similarly, in the case of final settlement, you have to obtain an unqualified discharge note. You means what? Insurance company will obtain unqualified discharge note, will issue an unqualified discharge note, right? So 2 points are from settlement, 2 points are from reinsurance, and 2 points are from co-insurance. देन अथॉरिटी से सैंक्शन करके 30 डेज में, अथॉरिटी से एक पॉइंट था, राइट? एंड वन पॉइंट वाज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू 30 डेज कि क्लेम हैज टू बी पेड विद इन 30 डेज फ्रॉम द लास्ट डॉक्यूमेंट दैट यू हैव रिसीव्ड. देन कम टू कमीशन ब्रोकरेज. कमीशन ब्रोकरेज So who will receive the commission? Agent, right? Agent will generally receive the commission in respect of direct business that he brings to the insurance company. So if he brings some certain business to the company, so for that he will receive the agent's commission. So commission received on amount of premium paid to reinsurer is termed commission on reinsurance accepted and is reduced from the amount of commission expenditure. What are they saying? Commission received on amount of premium paid to a reinsurer is termed as commission on reinsurance accepted. Commission on reinsurance accepted and is reduced from the amount of commission expenditure. That means what? Suppose I am accepting certain insurance from you. So you were burdened with a lot of risk, and therefore you transferred some of the risk. That means I am an inward reinsurer and you are outward reinsurer. Okay, so I am inward reinsurer, reinsurer accepted. So whatever insurance risk I will accept, I will also receive commission, na? Commission in respect of premium income, since no, I will not, but I will also be bearing the commission expense. Because see, let's say company A was the main insurer. Okay, company A was the main insurer. They received premium of 100 rupee. They received premium of 100 rupee from insuree, right? From insured. They received 100 rupee premium. And now out of this 100 rupee premium, they paid rupee 2. They paid rupee 2, that is 2 percentage to the agent, to agent. Now this rupees to agent that they have paid, once they transfer some risk, once they transfer some risk to company B, reinsurer. Company B is what? Reinsurer. So they will also be transferring this out of this 100 rupee, rupee 50. Suppose 50% they are doing the reinsurance, then rupee 50 will be transferred to company B also. Now this rupees 2, out of this rupees 2, 1 rupee will be borne by company B. 1 rupee will be borne by company B, and therefore company A will reduce rupee 1 on commission of reinsurance accepted. That means this commission is not our expense now, and therefore expense will be reduced. Expense will be reduced. Commission expenditure will be reduced on account of commission on reinsurance accepted. So whatever commission on reinsurance accepted you have taken, you will reduce the commission on account of commission expenditure. ठीक है? The internal everyone got this point or not? Any doubt? भाई कमीशन अपन को रीइंश्योरर से कमीशन मिलेगा ना. कंपनी भी वी आर पेइंग प्रीमियम टू कंपनी बी एज अ रीइंश्योरर, एज अ रीइंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम. So whatever commission we have borne, the proportion of those commission will also be borne by the reinsurer. Yes or no? Why will we borne 100% of the commission when reinsurer is also enjoying 50% of the premium? So he will also bear the 50% of the commission. That is plain as simple as that. The internal control with regard to commission is aimed at ensuring that commission is paid in accordance with the rules and regulations of the company and in accordance with the agreement with the agent. It's same all with respect to, I told you what, whenever you don't recall any point na, just insert internal controls. Internal control kar diya karo. And lastly, the TDS like under section 194H, 194I, then GST, particularly RCM provision will be applied in the case of insurance agent. So all this will be have to be checked. Remuneration of agent is what? Commission only, and commission is calculated based on percentage to be applied to the per premium amount. Now role of auditor, very important. A question can come from here. Role of auditor. What is the role of auditor? So we have divided this into 5-6 points via chart. Via chart you will find all the 5-6 points are covered. So commission paid, you will ensure ki commission is paid as per the rates agreed, and second point, commission is paid as per the as to the agent who has solicited the business. That means you should not pay to any other agent, but you should pay only to that agent who has actually solicited the business. So commission has to be paid as per the rates agreed, and commission has to be paid only to the agent who has actually solicited the business. Commission shall not be paid in excess of the limits prescribed by IRDA, and commission shall not be paid to blacklisted agents. 4 points are covered. 4 points we have covered. 4 points. Again. Commission paid is as per the rates agreed, and commission paid is to only to that agent who has solicited the business. Commission should not be paid to blacklisted agent. Commission should not be paid in excess of the limits prescribed. Simple 4 points. Then lastly, commission outgo properly accounted होना चाहिए. Outgoing commission should be properly accounted for, and any rectification of accounts if required should also be rectified in the case of commission income. Any doubt in commission and brokerage? So very important, very simple also role of auditor. Commission paid. Commission paid should be as per the rates agreed, and commission should only be paid to the agent who has actually solicited the business. Commission should not be paid to the blacklisted agent, and commission should not be paid in excess of the limits prescribed. So see, both the points are related only. The first point, this point is related to this point, and this point is related to this point. If you can link. ठीक है, done with the reading. Simple, right? Now come to operating expenses. Do you recall LIC, life insurance business? वहां पे operating expense were divided into how many heads? 12, 13, 14, 15. How many heads? In the case of life insurance business, all administrative expenses were classified under how many heads? बोलो बोलो. Yes. 14, Suneshwaran, Nupur 14, Pooja 14, right? So there it was divided into 14 heads. Here it is 13 heads in general insurance business. What was the schedule? Schedule number there in LIC for administrative expense? Schedule 3, right? Here it is schedule 4. Try to bifurcate, try to differentiate between the both. Okay. Now, what was the limit there? If you recall, any other expense which is required to be disclosed separately, what was the limit? Separate disclosure will be required for any other expense. You cannot club it with other expenses. You will have to disclose it separately. What was the limit? Huh? What was the limit in LIC? 5 lakh or 1%? 1% of what? 1% of net income, 1% of turnover, 1% of net premium. Correct, Sunesh. So 5 lakh or 1% of net premium, whichever is lower. Sorry, whichever is higher. Higher है यहाँ पे, higher. Remember, whichever is higher, and the same limit is prescribed here also. ठीक है? Now, any expense not having any direct relation to insurance business are to be shown in separate profit and loss account and not in revenue account. I have told you earlier also yesterday that whatever expense you can attribute to each and every business, like fire business के लिए इतना expense है, marine के लिए इतना, and others के लिए इतना, then you should recognize it in revenue account, bifurcating the same between different segments. However, in profit and loss account, you can recognize if you are not able to bifurcate exactly. Now these expenses are first aggregated and then apportioned to revenue account of each class of business on rational and reasonable and equitable basis. Simple. Now quickly फटाफट से बोलते जाओ. This is very important part which I am going to now tell you. Important MCQ. ठीक है? What do you think legal and professional charges with respect to example, with respect to claims? You incurred legal and professional charges with respect to claim. Where do you think it will go? Where do you think it will go? Legal and expenditure account, legal expenses account, or your claim cost? बोलो. क्लेम कॉस्ट में जाएगा कि लीगल एक्सपेंसेस में जाएगा? ऑल द लीगल खर्चा, सर्वे एक्सपेंस, लीगल एक्सपेंसेस यू incurred on claims. So everyone is saying claim cost. Yes, correct. So we have done it thoroughly many times. It will go to claim cost and not under any other legal expenses. However, again, let me ask you, legal expenses on IT, income tax evasion, legal expenses on income tax case, which is being held in the court of law. So all those legal expenses, where will it go? Now Dhanlakshmi is saying what? Legal expenses. Now it will go to legal expenses. It's correct, right? It will not go to claim cost because it does not relate to claims. Na? It is independent of claims. It will not go to claim cost. Now similarly, secondly, quickly tell me, employees remuneration and welfare benefit. Pooja, Garima, employees remuneration and welfare benefit. Suppose you reimburse certain medical expense to your employee, or suppose you incurred premium in respect of your employees. In respect of your employees, you have incurred premium. So this premium, this policy actually belongs to you only. That means you are the owner only. So what do you think? Where it will go? Employee benefit expense में जाएगा, एम्प्लॉय रेम्युनरेशन एंड वेलफेयर बेनिफिट में जाएगा, या कॉस्ट ऑफ क्लेम में जाएगा? बोलो, सोचो.
एम्प्लॉय बेनिफिट
एम्प्लॉय बेनिफिट में जाएगा, व्हाई विल नॉट गो टू कॉस्ट ऑफ क्लेम्स? क्लेम तो दे ही रहे ना अपन। हाँ,
क्योंकि एम्प्लॉय के लिए कर रहे हैं इसलिए।
yes, you can say ki since we are doing it for the employees and this is a normal practice which is followed by all the companies. I just recalled you, right? I just told you that even my employer has a medical insurance, health insurance. So it is a normal practice carried out by all employees, and it is done for only for the pure consideration that the employee is giving it to us. For all the services that the employee is giving it to us, we are giving the policy amount, we are giving the premium amount only for that purpose only, right? And it is not our customer, he is not our customer. So employee remuneration, welfare benefit, reimbursement of medical expenses in respect of premium, health cover, right? This will go to employee remuneration and welfare. Now expense on maintenance of health policy are required to be debited to claim cost. These expenses na jo maintenance of health policies hai, these are required to be debited individually and debited in the claims cost. Any expense toward medical treatment, again very important, medical treatment of employees incurred by the company to be included under this head. Medical treatment of employees incurred by the company, मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट करवा रहा हूं मैं मेरी कंपनी में. And important MCQ has been cast, non-training expense have to be shown separately. All the non-training expense. Rest you can read. Advertisement related. Interest, dividend, rent is also very simple. If you are incurring any expense, interest, dividend or rent, then it should be shown as gross figure. Should not be netted off by TDS. ठीक है? Depreciation and all these points. Now homework, investments and cash and bank balance is your homework. Investments and cash and bank balance. So फटाफट से go through operating expense एक बार. It is very important for your exam. Operating expense particularly. They are generally asking one odd MCQ from here. Just remember whatever topics we are doing, this can come in your exam for 5 marks. So do not take any point loosely. ठीक है? Loose मत पढ़ो अभी. You might feel कि we can leave this, we can leave that. Okay, this sentence might not be that much important, but you have to pay attention to each and every point, let alone topic. So again, this outstanding premium agent balance, they can ask you for 5 marks. Already they've asked in RTP May 22 question. So very important question. Outstanding premium and agents balance. Similarly, next is with respect to provision for taxation. Next is then lastly URR, unexpired risk reserve. ठीक है? तो come to outstanding premium and agents balance. They say what, that you should first inquire what reasons for all the old outstanding credit balance, why they are being not being paid, all the premium account, agent balance, why they are not paying us to, why they are not paying to us, and examine the reasons for reason examine karna for policies not being issued or the outstanding premium not adjusted. Then secondly, review control account debit balances. They are saying what, that you should scrutinize and review control account debit balance. That means what, there is one control account debit balance. That means suppose you are not receiving premium from certain client, or you are not receiving premium from certain agent, suppose now you are also telling him to do the business on behalf of the company. However, they are not repaying you, or they are not making the payment. Then there will be certain control amount, right? कि 1 lakh के ऊपर अगर हो गया क्रॉस, then it will no longer be my debtor. I will not extend credit lines to you, and therefore you will have to transact on cash only with me. And that is what scrutinize and review control account debit balance. Control account debit balance means what, we will not be debiting, no, we won't be debiting you anymore. Okay, we won't be debiting you anymore unless you pay the previous amount. Your cap is being reached, cap 1 lakh. Then examine inoperative balances, treatment given for old balance with reference to company rule. Inoperative balances हो गए, treatment given for old balance हो गया. ठीक है, ये सब तुमको देख लेना है. Why they are not been repaid, ठीक है, why they are not repaying us, or why we are not writing it off. If they are not repaying, then why we should also write off na? Why are we keeping such old balances from so long? Inquire into the reasons for retaining the old balance. Why are we retaining with us, the old balances? Why are we not repaying, or why are we not writing it off. Verify old debit balances which may require provision or adjustment or write off, you can say. एज वाइज रिपोर्ट चेक करो, सेक्टर वाइज एनालिसिस करो, verify whether outstanding premiums have been collected or not, and check availability of adequate bank guarantee or premium deposit for outstanding premium. So see all the points we can learn through this. All the points we can learn through this. Can you see this circle which is which looks like O? Which looks like what? Which looks like everyone? Which looks like O? And therefore O से old balances बहुत सारे अपने पास, old balances से बहुत सारे point है old. So old outstanding credit balance है, then inquire the reason why is it being held for so long. Then old outstanding, why are we retaining old outstanding? So let's mark old outstanding credit balance. Then review control account debit balances. Examine inoperative balance and treatment given for old balance. Then reason for retaining the old balances. Verify old debit balance which have required provision or adjustment. Right? O से ही 5 पॉइंट तो ऐसे ही हो गए, 4 पॉइंट O से ही. So 4 marks if it comes, you can write these 4 points, you will get full 4. Or even if full not full 4, then 3, at least 3 you will get. So O से old balance, again old long outstanding credit old balance है, inoperative balance या फिर treatment given for old balance हो गया, reason for retaining the old balance हो गया, and lastly old debit balances which may require provisioning or which may require write off. Then see sector wise दिख रहा है यहाँ पे तुमको, sector wise analysis, sector wise analysis दिख रहा है, sector wise हो गया, age wise हो गया, and then analysis of outstanding premium. Similarly verify whether outstanding premium have since been collected, क्या हमको मिल गया क्या प्रीमियम, and bank guarantee or premium deposit for outstanding premium, check the availability for the same if you are going for bank guarantee or going for premium deposit for outstanding premium. तो देखो एक कमीशन वहां पे भी था LIC में, इफ यू रिमेंबर कमीशन, या सो कमीशन वहां पे था, हाँ LIC में था, एक कमीशन ब्रोकरेज LIC में भी था, LIC में भी था मतलब लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी जो पोर्शन पड़े अपन वहां पे भी था. Come to last, provision for taxation. So provision for taxation, so whatever specific provisioning is applicable to insurance company carrying on GIC business, that also you will have to check here now. What all provisions you have to make for taxation purpose, which is applicable to insurance company, particularly general insurance company. First point. Secondly, you have to assess the past trend regarding approach of IT department, any decision of appellate forums for provisioning of any case which is pending against court of law, right? So if it is a case which is pending in high court, so you'll have to check that what high court or any other court has given the decision in favor of us or is it against us. If it is against us, then you should provide for the taxation, right? Again, then compliance with the provision of chapter 3 of the IT Act. If you recall chapter 3 of the IT Act, it was dealing with what? Exempt income. Chapter 3 कौन सा है? Exempt income वाला. Section 10 वाले बहुत सारे थे ना, याद है? If you remember section 10(1), agricultural income is exempt. Section 10(2), your share of profits of partnership firm, I guess. So 10(2), 10(2)(a), then there were so many sections. Section 10 वाले जितने exemptions है that are provided under chapter 3. So you have to comply with the provision of chapter 3 also, which provides for income which do not form part of total income. Then examine whether computation relating to foreign branches, other income earned outside India is dealt with properly as per DTAA. So there has to be one DTAA, right, signed with every country. So check whether the same has been properly dealt with or not. That means foreign branches से relating any computation or any other income that you have earned outside India. For that purpose, you need to see whether we are complying with the DTAA or not. DTAA. Then examination of GST implication on sale of salvage should also be seen if it is applicable to respective state and past trend in this regard. अब GST कहाँ से घुसा दी? Provision for taxation. Provision for taxation में you will also have to see indirect taxation कि whether are we required to provide for any GST expense also in respect of salvage sale. Salvage sale जो करेंगे, whether are we required to provide for any GST expense. and see whether deduction under chapter 6A provides for deduction have been made in computing total income is properly taken to account. चैप्टर 6 में तुम्हारे वो सारे आ जाएंगे एटीसी एटीसी वाले सेक्शन. And lastly, check whether TDS amount has been shown as grossed up. Grossed up, right? Yesterday also we saw कि net amount नहीं दिखाना है, gross amount दिखाना है. Has been computation of the total income. Gross of TDS has been total income calculation. Now come to trick. How do we recall all the points? First one, all the section. If you recall, say all section one of any act. If you see, it will start with what? The section the act applies to whole of India except Jammu and Kashmir or whatever be the case. So mostly all the acts generally include in section one. In section one, what applicable provisions? Applicable provision. Second is do the IT decision check कर लो. दो आईटेट डिसीजन चेक कर लो. दो टू से टू आईटेट डिसीजन एटलीस्ट यू शुड चेक टू आईटी80 डिसीजन. इफ द केस इज पेंडिंग इन कोर्ट हाई कोर्ट you should check at least two IT80 decision what are their past decisions. Then 3 for chapter 3. 3 for chapter 3, just now I told you chapter 3 belongs to section 10 of income tax act. 4 foreign branches. 5, does it look like S to you? 5, does it look like S to you? Yes or no? Quickly tell me, 5, does it look like S to you? Yes or no? 5, does it look like S to you? Yes, right? So S से salvage sale वाला point आ जाएगा. Whether are you required to provide for any GST expense on salvage sale? Yes or no? And then 6 से chapter 6A. 6 से chapter 6A. 6 से chapter 6A. And 7, quickly tell me whether this T looks like 7 or not to you. Whether this T looks like 7 or not. Yes or no? Then Lakshmi is saying no. Then Lakshmi, don't you think 5 looks like 7? Sorry, 5 looks like S and T looks like 7. Right? So 7 say T and T for TDS amount. T for TDS amount. So again, once again, let's revise. 1 for applicable provisions. All applicable provisions you will have to see to provide for taxation. 2 say दो ITAT cases you should at least cross reference, cross check with 2 decisions by the other court of law. 3 से क्या था? 3 chapter 3, right? 3 से chapter 3 of the income tax act. 3 से chapter 3. 4 से foreign branches. 5 से salvage value. 6 से chapter 6 से and 7 से तुम्हारा आ गया TDS. Lastly come to URR. Last 5 minute Kapil. बस URR तक. So URR already I've told you the concept, right? Unexpired risk reserve. Unexpired risk reserve means what? Suppose on 1st July you paid the premium, we received the premium, and this premium is valid till 30th June, right? So on 31st March, we will provide for 3 by 12. We will provide for 3 by 12, or you can say 1st April से लेके 30th June तक. Count the number of days and the number of days divided by 365 into premium amount. We will provide it as URR and we will recognize this premium income in the next year. Okay, this is what unexpired risk reserve. Why? Because the risk relates to next year. So we should not recognize premium in respect of that risk which is belonging to next year in the current year only. You should not recognize premium in the current year whose risk is to be assumed in the next year. Correct? So URR, in other words, at closing date, there is unexpired liability under various policy which may occur during remaining terms of policy beyond year end. So there are generally two methods. One method just now I told you कि number of days निकालो divided by 365 into premium amount. Number of days based on proportionate number of days of the risk remaining to risk expired 1 by 365 method. We call it what? 1 by 365 method. Similarly, you can directly take URR of 50% on premium amount or 25%. Generally in question in IPCC we used to have 25% URR creation by default if you recall. So दो method हो गए. What two methods? Two methods are with respect to, quickly tell me, two methods. बोलो भाई. 1 by 365 method हो गया and the other one is your 50% direct. provide for URR directly 50%, because anyway next year you will recognize the income ना, तो इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. It won't matter that much. So section 64 complies with the provisioning of maintaining control level of solvency margin. All this you will study in the video that I will share today. Profit and loss of insurance companies are governed by provision of section 44 of Income Tax Act or not. So profit and loss of insurance company has to be governed by section 44, because they will also be charged with income tax under section 44 of Income Tax Act. And in this regard, first schedule to IT Act computation of profit and loss of general insurance business provides for certain creation of URR as prescribed under Rule 6C. And according to this rule, Indian insurance companies are allowed deduction of, in the case of fire and miscellaneous business, you are allowed 50% of net premium. And in the case of marine insurance business, you are allowed 100% of the net premium. So you can see the difference from this movie, right? एक हो गया फायर हो गया और एक मरीन बिजनेस हो गया. So फायर बिजनेस वाले को कितना मिल रहा है? 50%. मरीन वाले को 100%. Why so? Why so? Why is that reason? Any reason? बोलो. Any reason that you can think of? कि मरीन में 100% क्यों प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं यूआरआर, एंड व्हाई वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग ओनली 50% इन मरीन फायर बिजनेस, नॉट मरीन बट इन फायर बिजनेस मिसलेनियस. यस, रिस्क ज्यादा है. रिस्क ज्यादा है की बात नहीं है, रिस्क शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ टाइम में, इट इज द रिस्क इज विद इन 2-3 days, राइट? सो सपोज शिप लेफ्ट ऑन 28th March, ship left on 28th March, and it will reach by 4th April next year, right? So in between 31st March, you cannot say that okay fine, number of days divided by 365, so 2 divided by 365, or sorry 3 divided by 365, this much we will transfer to next year. No, it is not like that, right? 3, or you can say 4, sorry, 4 divided by 365 you will transfer it to next year. No, it won't be like that. Then you will get lesser amount. So for that they say that fine, you can create 100% URR. अभी तक ऐसे भी शिप बीच में पहुंची होगी, श्रीलंका जा रही है, and anyway ship would have left from Visakhapatnam, however it has reached right now till Chennai only. So once it is reached, we will recognize 100% of premium income, but once till the time it has not yet reached the port, we will not recognize the entire income. In fact, we will not recognize any income. We will recognize only in the case of fire, 50% of net premium income to be recognized. एनी डाउट इन यूआरआर? दो मेथड है, दो सेक्शन है. कौन से दो सेक्शन है? विच टू सेक्शन? सेक्शन एक हो गया सेक्शन तुम्हारा 64V, एंड एक हो गया तुम्हारा सेक्शन 44. क्लियर? एंड लास्टली 2 पॉइंट हो गए विद रिस्पेक्ट टू 100% एंड 50%. 100% एंड 50% से 2 पॉइंट हो गए. एनी डाउट टिल नाउ? So if no doubt, I'll share you the video of this reinsurance. It will run till last. So last 2-3 pages I'll share you the video. ठीक है? Just make sure it is in Hindi. So Suneshwaran, if you have any doubt regarding it, you can come straight away directly. ठीक है? Rest you will be all able to follow the video. It is same on the same lines. Reinsurance. ठीक है? So I'll be sharing the video right away. Do watch it right now. अभी देख लो. If you want to revise first, then you can revise, and then you can watch it later also. But I would recommend to see it right now. And also you have test today. So the test you can give tomorrow, because I want you to first revise the entire insurance audit. I think that it is very, very important. Insurance audit chapter, for particularly for this attempt, you will find 1-2 MCQ as well. I think so. And one question definitely will come for 5 marks, right? So I feel as a chapter overall weightage is quite less as compared to volume, similar to bank audit. So if you will not revise right away, you will not feel so after 2-3 days. So I want you to revise right away today only. Given 1 hour or so, you can revise it till 10-15. ठीक है? 1 घंटे में try to revise it entirely. And those who are comfortable in Hindi, just search in Google audit of insurance companies, ये final Yash Chandak, you will get a 2-hour video. In overall 2 hour, I have revised the entire insurance audit. ठीक है? So if I can revise by explaining the concepts in 2 hours, I want you to bring that revision time to less than 2 hours, till 1.5 or 1.75 hours. I want that much revision time for you all to revise the entire insurance audit. So for that you have to revise it multiple times. And the first revision should start from today only. That is, uh, it should not be prolonged. The revision should not get postponed. Do it, revise it now, and you can give the test tomorrow. Tomorrow I might give you recorded lecture of company audit also. ठीक है? So I'll tell you accordingly, update you accordingly. चलो, revise right away. I'm sharing the link. ठीक है? And regarding that solvency margin also now, I have shared the link already on Telegram channel. You can watch that video. It's around 10 to 15 minutes video. एक बार देख लेना उसको. It's not that exam relative, exam perspective. However, you should have the understanding what is solvency ratio, what is solvency margin. ठीक है? चलो, bye bye.